part of my garage. My first market of the season is in about 2 weeks, and it is time to finally start preparing. I've been preparing. There are some things that I have not gotten around to yet that I've needed to, and that now I only have 2 weeks to get to. One of those is fixing these signboards. Some interesting developments since I last vlogged, talked to the camera, all that. I bought a mixer. It got delivered last week and we set it up in my bakery this weekend. And so I now have that, and that's very exciting because it's huge and it weighs a fucking ton, and it is going to be so useful. So yeah, I'm gonna take these boards outside because this is what's on the docket for this week. And basically this is part one of preparing for summer, because these spring markets are just preview markets. They're not the actual official season. So I still have plenty to do for the actual season, and there will be likely a part 2 to this video. Without further ado, I'm gonna get on that before it turns cold out. In a lovely turn of events, I'm out of battery. Not in here, I just changed the battery here, but somewhere I have another Craftsman battery, but either I find it and it's not charged, or I just wait for this one to charge. So, lovely. Alright, second battery just died, so I'm maybe a third of the way through the second board, which means it's time for a break. Hi, it's been a couple days, and the reason it's been a couple days is because it snowed. Lovely. So today it's just windy, but it's pretty warm out, which means it's time to paint. I'm quickly realizing that time is a-crunchin'. I have a week before I start mixing dough for the market, which means I need these signs done before then. So I'm gonna start by putting down some plastic so that I don't ruin the porch more than it's already ruined. I'm gonna do one at a time because I've never used this type of paint before, and I just want to see how it dries and how it all goes before I potentially have to sand it off. But hopefully I don't have to do that. Yeah, let's get to work. The wind today is no joke, and it sucks. Look at that. Oh, I'm glad I'm wearing my painting shirt now. On the upside, despite using a brush, it seems to be drying pretty evenly, which is great for a paint that cost me $5 because they mismixed it. So far so good. I hate the wind. Oh my god. Hi, welcome back to the garage. Everybody's favorite place. Board design. One time, in the 7th or 8th grade, I was tasked with making a poster project about, I think it was about Abraham Lincoln or something. And I got docked points because it did not look pretty. And that should tell you about how bad I am at poster board design. Yet here we are, it's my job. I think I've gotten pretty decent at figuring out what needs to be where on the board and how it looks pretty. I like the pink color, which is great because it costs $5 at Lowe's. And I mean, I've had my board set up forever, kind of in similar ways. I've had stuff printed out, I just cleaned it last week, so it's not dusty or dirty at all. And now I'm retaping it to the board. Here's the thing, in my first iteration of the boards, I had scrapbook paper behind things, but that is the reason why that board is still sitting over there, needing to be sanded again because it looks ugly because of the spray glue that I used to get that paper flat. Also, paper does not do well when it rains. The reason I like having laminated stuff only is that if it rains or if outside is muddy or just if it falls on the ground, nothing is going to get wet. It will all dry quickly. It will all be fine. Nothing will be ruined. And so I won't have to redo the whole thing and reprint a bunch of stuff. Incredible. With all the pages I already had printed out and laminated and all the photos I already had printed out and laminated, I think I've got a pretty good setup. So I'm gonna do that. The next thing on my list is taking care of these boxes. I ordered these from Webstaurant a couple of weeks ago. They came, they stayed here because I haven't had a chance to just open them, organize everything, and I also haven't been home alone in what feels like months. Also, pay no mind to this random printer. It's not staying here. Giant box first. Dough bin lids. All right, got 3 of those because I got 3 new dough bins because I'm anticipating having more space for loaves. More fridge space means more bins. This box, I think I know what it is. Dough boxes. 3 of them, like I said. I'm actually gonna leave this here for now. This is a paper cutter. So I finally invested in some rolls of wax paper because the lovely people of TikTok told me actually you can find that on Webstaurant. I had thought that you couldn't because I searched it years ago and no products are added in the years intervening because that's not a thing. But basically, this is the dowel, holds the paper, locks into place, and then this edge is not sharp, but it can be used to cut the paper. And so I will be doing that for the wax paper going forward instead of buying individual rolls of Reynolds wrap. Now that I have these, also hopefully there will be less waste because I calculated it out and it is about 1.2 cents per foot more. Why am I the way that I am? And that's what these are. These 2 rolls of 1,000 feet each, because that was how many I needed to get the price decrease to make it 4 cents per foot instead of like 5 or 6. So I'll be using this for my focaccia going forward. It seems good quality, feels right, should work. A little behind the scenes. This video is taking weeks and weeks to film because it's taking me weeks to get through stuff for a variety of reasons, including but not limited to I'm fucking tired, dude. Today is the day before my bake day for the first spring market, my first market of the year, which I'm not vlogging. So since today is dough day for that market, I mixed dough in my mixer for the first time ever. Amazing. I have often tended to make excuses to stay where I am in a lot of ways. In ways of, oh, it's not the right time, or I'm not ready for it, or there's this thing in my way. Buying a mixer kind of felt like that because what was in my way was me and my psychology and my pride in doing everything by hand. And you know what broke down that barrier was pain. I was in a lot of pain in November and December, just with my hands and how irritated they got, and jalapeno juice, and like just the dryness of this climate, which doesn't often get me super bad, but it did when I had to mix large amounts of dough, because then I wash my hands probably every 10 minutes at least when I'm working with dough, when I'm doing bread stuff. And so, I mean, in a 10-hour workday, how many times do you think I'm washing my hands? A lot, which means that they're gonna be really dry. That plus the high desert winter sucks. And you know what? I got fed up with it and I thought to myself, I'm tired of this sucking. And that broke through my pride and my financial anxiety and finally got me to break down and order a mixer. I am already loving it so much. This thing is a beast. It was an absolute bear to get in the house. I could not have done it without my partner, who actually has muscles. I apparently don't. It's a wonderful machine, and I am so grateful for it already, just after mixing 2 batches of dough in it. So I think we're on a positive trajectory to start the year, market-wise and scaling-wise. I still do need to find a fridge. Hi, welcome back. Don't look at anything in my garage. Oh my God. I cannot show this side because it is an absolute mess. It's been a couple of weeks because I'm spreading this out, but today it's time to open my new tent. I've been needing a new tent for at least the last 2 years, and last summer I was getting rained on at the Wednesday afternoon market because, I mean, if you've ever lived in Colorado, you know afternoon thunderstorms and just afternoon rain showers are a thing. And yeah, I got pretty darn soaked at those the couple of times that it happened. And so I bought a new tent, finally. It came with weights, stakes, a canopy, and this is pretty much perfect timing because I have one more market left in the spring markets and then the season starts. So basically I need to fill the new weights and set up the new tent, and I'm gonna unbox it. Wow. So this is a lot taller than my last one. Okay. It feels a lot sturdier. Just right off the bat. Also, I'm not mentioning brands. I'll mention your brand if you pay me for it, but I'm not mentioning brands. Okay. Yeah, that's a little bit bigger than the last one. My last one is sitting over there and it's like this tall. but it goes up ×3. I don't know how far. This one has 1 point of raising, so it'll go up to double this height if need be. Which yes, need be. You know what? I need this to stand up. Okay, there's the sticks. Oh yeah, this will be a lot easier. Another reason that I knew I needed a new tent was because that one I have to raise one leg at a time and it like latches leg by leg. This one, you raise it by pushing up the center and it's a lot easier for one person to do. Because that ends up being the situation, is I'm putting up the tent by myself while my partner is moving the car and doing that. So, not as pretty a color as the one that I had before, but it was on sale. So, ooh, okay. So this goes over the whole thing. Those are the walls. Cool. I do not like how big that brand is. Weight bags. I will be filling these with sand, but probably filling plastic bags with sand and then putting them in here, because I learned before that this canvas leaks, and if it puts pressure on these seams, thank you for that, it leaks even more. That's why, like, that's why my current ones are leaking, is because the sand is putting pressure on the seams. So we don't want to do that again. Well, I'm pleased with that purchase. We'll see how it is when I use it for the first time in 2 weeks. I just had to go get another battery anyway. So there was no use in rushing. Cool. Well, if you like this video, like it. And if you want to see more from me, you can subscribe, because that's the way things work around here. You know that. This isn't your first rodeo. And I will be hopefully making more videos soon about like the process. We're really gearing up for a very busy summer season, which I am more than slightly nervous about. So might be talking about that, might be doing some other bits and bobs around to prepare for that. And yeah, in the meantime, I hope you are well. I hope you are staying healthy and enjoying the spring weather and all of that good stuff, because I want good things for you, flat out. But yeah, I hope you have a good rest of your day, and I will hopefully see you next time. Bye.